Smell of burning steel.
Wow.
We're being quiet so we can hear the
Or song. Where's the order?
I don't know. I was talking last night. I don't know. That's all I do now. Others can come. There you go.
Where's Rick?
Hey, Mr. Crawford, can you hear us? I don't know if you can hear us. Hello? Our audio is on.
Hello.
Hi,
Hello.
can you hear us?
I can hear you. Yep.
Okay, we'll be starting shortly.
I'll be here. How's that?
Okay.
How's the icon? Is it better?
Maybe. I can see it looks like the stuff. Yeah, Tim, I contacted him in double digit. Running a cruise in the Gulf. One vessel. Plug.
I have a flag on my phone.
Yeah.
On my phone.
Okay.
Yeah, October 7th being the town of Morristown is called to order. Start with one, two, three.
Oh, God. Hold it up.
This side. All of the board members. And on the left. All the board members have the printed minutes from the September 10th meeting. Yeah.
I'd like to propose some changes to the minutes.
Yep.
On page 1 of your old business financial report. The second line, I would propose to read the amount of unclassified revenues is over budget. In the next paragraph, second sentence, I'd like to add the word not. The tax rate will not change.
Yeah, that's kind of important.
Mhm.
On page 2, reinstated chips for October is $300,000 and it should be 100,000 for December. That next is zero in there. And on the very last page, second to last paragraph under executive session, the final sentence would read, the executive session ended at 7:15 p.m. with no action taken. And I would propose those amendments to the minutes, and with those amendments, propose drafting the minutes, approving the minutes.
The motion has been made. You have a second? Second. Roll call, Jill.
Gary?
Aye.
Dave?
Aye.
Chris?
Aye.
Sean? And Frank?
The next is correspondence, and we received one note here for everybody. We received a thank you from, Sandy Warren's family for the flowers that we sent. On behalf of the town. Oops, there it is. Okay, and that would be a gift, okay?
It'd be great to try to stay there for the.
Okay, well, first, well, public comment and the window report, so thank you very much. If you do that.
Joe, we have a gentleman on Zoom call with us. Could you identify yourself? I'm sorry, I don't know who you are.
I'm Randy Crawford with Crawford Stearns Architects, and Jim, are you able to talk? Okay, the photograph there is Jim Deloisio, the structural engineer that's part of the team, and Scott Lupini, the contractor that's actually heading up the team, if you will. I don't know if he's going to be able to make it tonight. We haven't spoken.
Hello there. Well, we really appreciate your participating, gentlemen. My name's Chris Coffin. I'm a member of the town board, and I'm aware of the proposal and the assessment that you've made on the windmill in town. And I think that there are people here who have not seen that assessment. And I'm just standing in for Anne Marie Fitzrandolph.
Okay.
She may arrive and take over the duty, but I wondered, would you run through the conclusions, the points you'd like to make about your assessment of the condition of the window?
Jim? Jim?
Am I vocal? I don't know if I'm vocal.
Yeah, we can hear you.
Oh, okay.
Okay.
Yes, Randy, would you like me to try to summarize?
Yeah, why don't you hit the structural aspects and the recommendations? And mine is really more historical background and I don't know, to patch in around what you and Scott have developed.
Okay, great. Well, it's an amazing structure. It really is. But it's suffered a lot of abuse and weathering over the years. There's a couple of areas, maybe you all know this, that have local bulges on the exterior surface of the stones. Scott and Randy and I met up there several months ago. Scott and I took a lift and opened up and removed some of the stones and some of the bowed areas, and found some significant voids within the thickness of the walls. The thing is, moisture gets into those walls and continues to deteriorate. It stays in the walls because the hard mortar that has been used over the years kind of traps the moisture in the walls, and freeze thaw especially deteriorates the interior surface, the interior of the mortar. So long story short, it's basically kind of like an exterior and an interior crust with a lot of voids and soft disintegrated mortar on the inside. I recommended getting some straps, some cables around the tower to maintain its stability. There's really no telling how close it is to having local or systemic bulging and failure happening on those walls. And then you can proceed with a careful, rehabilitation of the walls using lime mortar, soft mortar, moisture breathable mortar from both the interior and the exterior, using an injectable mortar to try to fill the voids and to try to remove the deteriorated mortar from inside. So it's quite a project, and I would anticipate it would take some time to do in terms of the funding and the time to do the work. But that was my recommendation, is to initiate some stabilization procedures. There's a word for the minutes. Stabilization procedures to see if we can arrest any further local or systemic failure of the walls. How's that? Did you all hear that?
I have a question. Frank,
Sure.
Town Supervisor, having been an old farmer, these straps, are they similar to the hoops that they put around these these silos that are put up with staves?
I guess in general, there's a lot of similarity to them. Yes, the cables or the straps take tension load and they resist the bulging out of the cylindrical elements. So yeah, there's a lot of similarity to them.
Okay, thank you. Anybody?
I don't know if you guys can see the screen from where you're sitting, but Scott Lupini, the specialty masonry contractor, joined a few minutes ago. I think he's hiding behind the word iPhone. Scott, is that you?
Can you guys hear me?
Yes.
Absolutely.
Hey, I apologize. I got booted out of my house in St. Petersburg. The Helena leveled my
Yeah.
house, so
Oh, no.
now I'm up at my parents' house. So I apologize. I don't have all my gear in front of me, but I wanted to at least call in to add anything I could. So I don't have my file with me, but I'm pretty familiar with the project, so I apologize.
Where can we go from here on this? So, are there any further questions for the folks we're talking with on Zoom? Gentlemen, I think that we have enough information so we can move
Dean
on.
has a question.
Yeah.
Got a question.
Oh, hello, Dean.
I did read the report and the question was $30,000 to do the extensive repair. I'm looking to get a grant. Is it reasonable to think we'll be able to get a grant?
My take on it is that this is a step at a time. That probably we do the short-term emergency work.
Yeah.
And then start submitting applications. And I don't think I can make a projection. You know, sometimes we do get grants that are bigger than we had anticipated. But most of the time, we either get turned down or we get a smaller amount than we applied for. So
That's my girl. That's my girl.
I'm sorry, what was that? Oh,
is Randy Crawford on the line?
yes.
Yes, I'm here.
Randy, we've just been asked whether or not there's any possibility or likelihood that a grant would be approved to do some or all of that work for the long-term solution. What's your take?
I would think it's likely. I think if a phased project is developed and you pursue a variety of sources, you may even want to talk to a grant consultant to get a little bit of immediate help. There's a number of funding sources in New York, and many of them are looking for very, very large projects. You're not going to be a huge one, particularly for if you do it in stages. So I would absolutely suggest you pursue outside funding.
That's my take too, Dave. You know, no guarantees, but this is not an unreasonable track to pursue.
I don't think any of us expected that all of a sudden would be magic and we'd have it all saved. I think we've seen so many things that take so much patience and time, and this is one of them.
Any other questions before we wrap up? Randy and gentlemen, thank you very much. We really appreciate your input, and we will be referring to the written report too and make it available to folks around here.
Okay, sounds good. I'm sure we'll be willing to field additional questions going forward, and we'll see what can be done. It's a pretty cool artifact.
Super.
Okay, all right. Thanks. Good evening.
So long, all.
Thank
Bye.
you.
Covered in one year, I was looking at the Band-Aids and the bolts of the buck. I went 18,000 things. They were prescribed. I'm not sure. There's 300 cents. Said three. $1 million. 18,000.
So-
Yeah, the money.
What will that look like?
It goes on the outside instead. Well, it's paved one side. It's a cage. That's a temporary.
It's, yes. Doesn't go for it. Yeah.
Back to the old state. Right. So do we have the money that?
I'm sure we'll find expensive if we ever see the money for this. Yeah, the answer is yes.
Yeah, even though it won't look really attractive, it looks short term, you don't want to sell a product with organic.
Exactly.
That's what we've got.
Well, you know, beyond the look, it'd be tragic if it did do those things.
Right.
Well, but it also could be just, safety hazard.
Oh, it will be.
Yeah, so there's all the reasons. to do this. Okay, if there's. Yes.
Easy to go to your website today, I haven't been in a couple of months, the new version of it is totally awesome. I mean, I thought it was before, I'm gonna do some example, you got lost in the old version. The one you got now is just easy to use, very, it's just worldly different.
The lady sitting in front of you should stand up and take a bow.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
Here.
Well, that's it for my report.
With that, do you have any comments you'd like to make? We had a Zoom call with your community and group.
I'm sorry, I cannot hear fast. I'm ready to go. Board is. Like to consider, I just think it's so important. Thank Randy Crawford and Jim Deluxio and Scott Lupini who put this on the board for them. It's fun. For us, I know is, you know, a lot of money. And for the thoroughness of that report, I was just blown away. I know you've got big decisions to make now.
We did share that. We were grateful for their report, but I think we can follow it up with something in ink.
It's especially important as well to mention the Rock Charitable Trust for the community funds was funding the project. Marjorie Rock must have been quite a formidable lady, and I'm really proud of you learned about it through this process. So thanks, and I'm sorry.
We're all ready for that round. It's all of the efforts we made to bring it to this point was very well received. Thank you. With that,
She was lieutenant in the, Army, I think, left, legacy for the community fund to be managed for certain projects. You can find all about it in the community fund list. He served in local.
with that, now we need the old business. The first item is financial report.
Yes. On the September statement, there are a couple of interesting items. The general fund. This is this would be page 2 of 2 under general fund. It's titled the detail of revenues. And at the bottom, it says 2 of 2. It's actually the third page, I think, the fourth page of this stapled package. Which count that as fine, page 5. There was agenda. More paper here. What? Yeah.
Your papers.
Yep, I'm gonna do this from memory. So the entry under 2770, it's titled unclassified revenues, was budgeted at $9,000. And it came in at $53,000. So that surplus money that drove it up to $53,000. Of that, $10,000 is money from the fund of Northern New York Community Fund, the one that Anne Marie just mentioned, that we used as half of the cost of the technical review on the windmill. So that's $10,000, and then 25,000 of it is an unidentified check that came in from New York State, which Carol Woodcock has done a great deal of research to try to determine the source of, including talking to people in the Office of the Comptroller of the State of New York. And the legend on our entry says, is that something like safety or border? Do you remember, Carol?
It was Homeland.
Homeland Security.
But they didn't really tell us the answer to the one. Johnson said, "You need to live here, and I don't know." No, no, it was just the money, I Johnson said, "Well, if they can identify the person." I saw the email that was sent to us.
We put horse in the mouth.
Or did it something more important than that, than I do the AED? They, office of family, and then it's probably the first person.
Because at one point, we wondered if it was that money that we've never seen from.
Oh,
Which. But tomorrow, I need, again, we need to revisit that with, that item over there. Right.
And there's one more large component, $50,000. It's $9,444. It was listed, identified as an energy refund from a co-op that the town is a part of that qualifies us for some solar energy rates. It's a Jefferson Lewis County BOCES co-op that we've been a member of for a number of years. And this is the first time that I've been aware that there's been a benefit, but I'll bet this comes in every year, close to $10,000, which, depending on your bookkeeping system, could be applied as reducing our power costs on the expense sheet. Excuse me, but in this case, it shows as unclassified income. Right? So this all makes sense to me, but it kind of fills out what that particular mystery is. I think that's really all that there is. That's no financial statement, with the exception that we continue to show that the water district has borrowed some money from the general fund. There is the wherewithal of the payment back I think that we'll probably wait until December to do it, because we don't want to count our chickens before they hatch, but it does need to be done by the end of the year. We will pay it back from one fund to the other with interest, because the funds are separately responsible for their own costs, including borrowing money. No,
And we could give, and we were able to give a better deal if we went for it on something.
well, most likely, yes, we're paying the general fund the same rate of interest that we get
Right.
on our CDs from the bank. Whereas if you went to the bank, to borrow, it would be more than that.
Thank you, Chris.
Yes.
Next item is the 2025 proposed budget.
Are you doing the statement of the fund balance statement?
Sorry.
The fund balance statement?
Oh, I missed that, sorry.
We distributed or looked at a copy of the fund balance statement. We've held off on action on a couple of meetings because we wanted to wait until the entire board was together. And for the folks who are not on the board and haven't looked at this, become tired. The purpose of this particular statement is to put on paper why we're why the town has a fund balance and what its purposes are. And it's part to explain to people why you need to retain some money rather than, let's say, reducing the taxes and using up the fund balance. But it's also partly because in some towns, the town board changes from time to time. Not quite so much in most. But who knows whether or not the same people will be here in 2 years. And this is to give subsequent town board members a written entry on why we are doing what we're doing now. They can make their minds up at their time. And the particular purposes for maintaining a fund balance are replacement and repair, emergency funds, to deal with things like what happened in the town of Colton and the towns of Canton when the last big storm came through and tore up the roads. And rainy day funds in case we had another recession, let's say sales tax went down. And working capital, because this organization needs to pay salaries and pave roads and do things of that nature. They get the bulk of their money in real property taxes early in the year. And then every quarter, they get payment on sales tax. It's distributed by the county to the towns. So between the months when there's income, you still have to make payroll. And we have put some approximate numbers on the funding goals. $500,000 for highway equipment. Incidentally, we have 2 plow trucks on order. One is supposed to be built in December. Those 2 together will add up to more than $500,000. For emergency funds such as road repair and culvert repair, $150,000. For rainy day funds, on this particular list, and this is supposed to be examples, these aren't precise. We put down $240,000, which would give you 3 years worth of $80,000 a year decreases in sales tax. And that would be a serious recession for that to happen. And then for working capital, about $700,000. In work on infrastructure, and gentlemen, I'd like to change the term, because as this was distributed to you, it says municipal buildings. That might really imply that the town is has made or is making a decision now to build a new town hall. And that's not at all, it's intended by this object. And it's not at all what the members of the town board have reviewed and agreed. So infrastructure, about $1 million. We'd like to have $1 million so that we could do a project if we need to. Comes to 2,700,000. At the end of last year, we had about 1.5 million. So we're not exactly beyond our goals. But we do, when we don't have barn fires, when we don't have shock that this community's assets had in the past 2 years, we do put over $200,000 a year aside toward capital projects of this nature, toward reserves. And we have, in the past 10 years, been able to build this. So we're making progress and we have a target. And it's with that I'd like to propose this and open it up to discussion by the members of the town board.
One of the things I think you haven't mentioned, Chris, is that before we were under the inability to purchase, for instance, trucks. We had to borrow the money, pay interest on that, and now with due diligence, we're not throwing money at interest.
As a matter of fact, when I did the financial report, I didn't mention that our interest received so far on our assets is around $47,000. And that does depend on the interest rates paid by borrowers and lenders and so forth. It's not going to stay there forever.
We're better to be getting interest
Instead of paying, isn't it nice to have money coming in instead of going out for interest?
like my.
Frank, can I ask you a question? Thanks, too. I think the county keeps track of this, but I'm not sure. I mean, do we have a sense of what a kind of baseline percentage that most communities have in terms of the fund relative to the total budget?
The people in the state comptroller's office diligently refuse to say how much or what percentage should be in reserves. They have said to me, if a community has less than 25% of a year's worth, we think they might be susceptible to fiscal stress. If they have more than a year's worth of budget, we ask them to document why they are keeping that much money. And that's partly what we're looking at here. Our budget currently for highway in general runs about $2 million a year. And with the special districts like the sewer districts and the water district, it's around 2,700,000.
And the fund you're talking about is what?
Well, I proposed a goal of 2,700,000.
So you're close to that limit.
That's right. And I think it'd be entirely appropriate to have a, what do they call it, a hearty discussion about whether we had too much money set aside if we get that. But I think that between now and then, we're going to nibble our principle.
Thank you. My second question is, what's the interest rate you get on this fund? 4%.
Right now, it's 4.5.
Where is it?
It's in Citizens. We had a rather heated discussion about looking elsewhere. And really, the conclusion of the board was, I think that it's important to support local business.
Well, they stepped it up. for us.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
They absolutely responded to what was in the marketplace.
I think it's fixed rate, right?
It's a fixed rate for 12
For 12
months. and,
months.
You know, it'll be reviewed, the rate will be reviewed at the end of the year.
Thank you. Yeah, it was well to review it because it did make a difference. And there was a lady back there that said, this is crap. We're getting. Maybe those weren't the facts.
So
Close.
I wonder, gentlemen, would you consider adopting this statement about fund balance as a statement on board policy? If the discussion's over, I'd make a motion to do that.
I'll second it.
And the motion has been made, second. Roll call, Joe.
Gary,
Aye.
Dave,
Aye.
Chris,
Aye.
Sean, and Frank.
Aye. Motion carries and. Now we're going to 2025 proposed budget sent to Tony back.
You're welcome.
This is done, everybody's packing first time.
No, it was sent out to them. Yeah.
Why is the town board getting a raise? Why are you getting a raise? I think I deserve it. I'm saying no.
I would ask the question, why is the town board members getting $250 and you nothing? Yours is $2,000.
I think we run for a position. We know what the price is, the cost is going in. We know it's a 4-year term. Why are we changing?
Actually, since I ran, it has become a lot more time consuming. I spend a lot of time at the office.
I don't want to get into that side of it because it just won't be a good deal. But having said that, we ran for a position at a certain pay. I don't see it. We should be getting raises. Some of our meetings are out. Do the math on that.
I think that I've given this some thought because I knew that there were different points of view about it. I think that everybody who's ever been on the town board when I've been around certainly has a good deal of public service interest in why they are doing this. You know, it's not just a job. It has become demanding, I think, for the town supervisors, so that there are elements in which it is a job. And these things are both true at the same time. It's not as if it's all one or all the other. I think that if the town board chose not to make an adjustment in the supervisor's salary, and incidentally, as far as my salary goes, I would like to leave everything the same as far as I'm concerned. I'm not interested in debating myself. But I think if the town board is game, that it would be really appropriate for us to think through the organization of the town, the duties the supervisor is asked to do. And think through my interest in having a town administrator. I think that at this point, we're having two major changes underway in our office staff. Carol intending to leave next spring, and Judy having left this year. And I think that they get a lot done. I'm just not sure that new people can put Band-Aids on and fill in different places with such versatility and knowledge as that longtime staff has had. I mean, Judy and Carol together may not seem appropriate, but you guys have more than 40 years experience, don't you, Carol, for working for the town? And truth is, has become a little more busy with the dissolution of the village. And additionally, gentlemen, it might surprise you, I'd like to do some things. I'd like to apply for a grant that might bring in the funds for our windmill. I'd like to put in a major application for New York State funding to change the parking on Main Street and support downtown development. These things will not happen with strong limits on the administration of the community. So these are things that I think call for deep thought, not just one moment.
We gave a raise last year, Frank, of what, two grand?
Last year,
You got a raise, remember? You got a raise the year before.
a few years.
Right, got 2 grand.
And I'll tell you this, I won't, whatever the decision is, I will put every bit as effort as I have in.
Right, when we all are. And I just don't like being elected and then giving ourselves a raise. I don't like that at all.
Create when the county legislature does it. And that's, unfortunately, it's really tough. It's one of the first things I saw. And again, it's the first one. 12,323. The proposal was 17,000 for 2025 in 3 years. I'm not trying to generate. I agree with Dave. Many of you in these jobs for the money.
Same with the assessor, just put 2 letters in his file after. And we're giving raises out for bad behavior.
That was next time.
Right.
Geez, Michelle, you and I talking?
We went through it all. Generally, all of it. I know, with the percent. That's why, and that's why we're doing it now. To get input.
I have a question about process. And I'm sorry that I haven't been at the last couple of board meetings, but how long have people had a chance, have you all had the budget prepared and have an opportunity to look at it? No, we have a lot, probably 3 weeks. How many? 2 or 3 weeks. Okay. And the process is that you then have one meeting about it and vote on it at that meeting, like tonight?
So we won't.
No.
Night because.
I can't hear.
You'll be hearing.
Okay. Is that scheduled?
Tonight, we're supposed to set the date.
Thank you. That's
This is kind of the first time we've kind of gone, try to look at line by line and
yeah. Okay.
together to try to hash some numbers out.
Thank you. So this is not it tonight.
No.
I anticipate we'll make some changes tonight and reprint it.
Page 2, personal services.
Is there a clear decision on salaries for the board of supervisors?
I'll file my statement.
Yeah, I mean, I don't want.
So we'll leave the numbers the same as 2024.
As far as I'm concerned, the justice too, we run for a decision. Know what it is going in. For the 4 years. But I think you kept that. Touch that one like this. Justice. He stays the same.
Game to weigh things down if try to get a consensus.
Right, that's the.
It's nice.
Right there.
It's right. I mean, you don't have to.
That's why I said.
To me, that's my opinion, it stays as we were elected to do. Yeah. That's it, so we're on, we're right now, Peter, we're like on the justice. Yes. The justice was elected, when he ran for office, was 4 years at $17,000. I'm saying keep it at 17,000, what he was voted in at. That's mine. You guys want to change it, that's fine. Let's get a consensus. What's your feeling on the justice staying where it is?
Yeah. Like I said,
Yes.
the office changes.
Yeah.
So, but I said, it's not sort of.
Is that, yeah, we do assess the same thing.
My feeling, you know, the justice, we've been doing it for 30 years and this from, fellow super sheriff, he's the only one answering the phone. And I would say, yes,
Say what?
yes, I'm definitely.
The draft shows a 3% increase.
In 17,510.
He's the longest standing judge in the town. Right. Yeah, you know, and right now, I mean, just from troopers and sheriff, I know, at night, he's the only one who answers. You know, he'll go out at 2 or 3 in the morning, and these other ones won't, you know.
And I'm aware that the revenue from town court is above budget and above previous years. And what that really means is the number of cases is up. So I'm okay with 3% raise for the judge.
And we did go from 2 judges, 2 salary, 1 salary. I'm just putting everything out there. I'm gonna throw it under that. So Gary.
Yeah.
What's your?
They say it stays the same.
So we have something close that are adjusting it, stay the same. Chris? Where do you want?
I would raise the salary. So
And you're not raising the salary. And
The raise is not Frank's.
But there's three of us that,
On the survey, say that we raise his salary.
so we'll bring this budget back to the board. If the vote doesn't change, then it would be adopted at that point, but for the time being, the draft will show 17,510.
Moving on. Actually, there's something else. Are there other things you'd like to address?
Yeah, supervisor.
Well, we had that, I thought we had that addressed.
I said, what was the,
Since it's 10%.
said that,
I. What's yours saying? Well, let's just go through that, the same.
thing,
Gary,
Pardon?
we're talking about supervisor, the supervisor, whether it remains the same.
I think you deserve a little more money. It's not a lot of money. Take care of people that run the government. Beginning.
And since I would weigh in, this is a little difficult because there's 4 people who weigh in.
Hold on.
Well, I think that the amount of work has gone up and it's a real issue. I hear what you said, David, but I don't agree. So
That's all right.
I would go with 17.
So there's 2 and 2.
And then, so, your fault.
No, I'm not. You should have. Yeah.
So gentlemen, how do you want to see the next draft of the budget? Should we ask the mayor for a vote?
there you go, they're taxpayers.
You know it's not. I know it's, I need you to know. I do. I do. I wouldn't have been advertising sales all those years if I took things personally.
Indeed. Well, I think on the time, be reasonable to leave things as they are.
As we go to the procedural question, is this actually the tentative budget at this point?
It's been filed as the tentative budget, as it's currently.
As it's currently- So wouldn't it be the case that in order to change it, you would need a majority vote?
I think that's correct.
Okay, thank you.
That takes care of that. Of course, handle it. Okay, so we got those 2 items. Where we want to go next?
Get the assessor. Stays the same.
I don't know, I don't think we can pick and choose every person, I don't really want to think about it, I mean, it's good for one, it's good for the other, we can't pick and choose every person. I don't think that's right.
So if you have an employee
Right.
that has got a letter or 2 in their file.
Right, that is different, say no different at work, if you get a disciplinary action, you don't get a raise, but. If nobody has gotten any disciplinary action, I don't think we can pick and choose every person. I don't think that's,
Well,
I'm-
on this whole disciplinary action.
we can't say, but
I know you can't, but some of us. would know.
Right. I don't think it's right to pick and choose every person. No. Either everybody's gonna get 3% or.
Yeah, give everybody 3%. Have it over.
I don't think it's right. to pick each person apart. I don't. Either everybody's gonna get it or.
I don't like,
I mean, not myself, I don't
like being elected to a position and all of a sudden giving ourselves raises. We knew,
I don't want-
we knew what the price was going in. We took the, I mean, then and we got elected.
That's why.
I hate sitting there giving us raises.
Seems to me as if it's fair never to implement raises until the term is over or
Absolutely.
something like that.
Something like that, yes. 4 years, we look at it, then we look at it. This going through giving 3%, yeah,
I mean, our full-time employees are different.
different. Yes.
I don't agree with picking and choosing. on- Well, that'd be up to the vote, I guess, if everybody wanna do, like I said, I don't think we should sit here and pick everyone's. You know, ourselves either, you know. Myself, I don't know, we don't, like we said, we're elected.
What is elected.
I don't know what everybody wants to do, it's my turn, whatever everybody else.
So let's take a straw poll. Here.
Which way you wanna go? That's what you gotta ask. I mean, no vote or no raise, or
I mean, raise for everybody or not?
He's suggesting it should be equitable across the list.
I guess.
Of the first part.
Yeah, I guess elected took the job or what the price was, I guess it's no raise.
Yes.
My little bit.
Well, we're talking a little bit about positions that aren't elected. Two of them we talked about, the assessor. He's appointed. I don't know if you want to differentiate between.
I mean, elected is totally different. than appointed.
Do you want to restate that then?
I think if you're elected. say this, if you are not a full-time elected official. There should be no raises. And appointed are, what I want to say.
Appointed, you can give a raise.
Yeah, taking myself deep for the higher side.
I think what you want to say is that if they're a appointed position, you believe that they should be across the board percentage of raise. Is that what you're saying? Again,
Oh, no, what I was saying.
again, they know what they're getting into. We're gonna do the same thing with the planning board, they're appointed. We're gonna give them 3% raises. Where do you draw the line?
One place that we can draw the line is with full-time.
Right.
Like, Jill, Dean,
Well, Dean,
Because if we step back away from what people are elected, then we could apply the raises to the highway superintendent and town clerk. And the rest of the full-time employees. And I think that the people who are in elected part-time positions, it'd be really appropriate to defer any pay changes until after they re-elected. Or after the election for their position, which would mean, given that our terms are staggered, it would mean that.
how does that work that if someone runs? And then you look at it after the fact?
we have to put the,
Would you have to?
We'd have to change the pay in 1 year and wouldn't take effect till.
Yeah. So if someone's running, say this is what it is.
Are we getting into trouble, Peter, or are we already?
I don't know, so that's what it's to do. So you have different people making different salaries depending on where they are in the election cycle? Is that what you're saying? No, I mean, the clerk, Chris.
I think that'd be one solution. Yeah,
So, it's all
yeah, it is.
I think, so is there a majority of you guys up at one time, 3?
yeah, sorry.
Well, it's two councilmen plus the citizen.
Yes, spring. But probably at budget time. When. This election, like before the election, or whatever, they would know what they're running for, running at, this is the proposed. Line item, the budget item.
Yeah.
For this pay, right?
Yep.
So they would know.
Yeah, that's.
Then the other two, what's up to?
Then the other two follow suit. I mean, it is what it is. I mean, we've done it that way for years, but again, I've been on board for a long time too. We've never given ourselves grace. It's always been what it was.
Is there a way you want to word this? So that it's on record.
So we're not giving, the justice raise either.
No, none of us part-time, but it's getting it.
Who has this? Dean? Jill.
Carol. Right.
Code officer.
Hold on a second.
So what I'm hearing is that we will establish a board policy that, for full-time employees will set a rate of change in pay. But that for part-time elected officials, no pay changes will be made until the majority of the board
I'm sure election cycle.
is up for election. So
Yeah. In that. Right.
every fourth.
So is everybody candidate for years or is it?
No, that, this would come to,
And it's not gonna stop. It's not gonna stop, you're just talking about what you want to do.
yeah, it's just this board's policy that anybody else could change.
Exactly.
I've talked to you about this, never happened before. Here's, just the way I see it. You know, I think everybody knows that you're pretty much volunteering your time. You know, I mean, I don't know what you make, but it can't be very much. And so. We know that. The problem is if you don't increase your salary, I would just argue, I guess. The counterpoint to Dave, what you're arguing, David. If you don't increase it once in a while, the problem is you never increase it. You know, and this happened to me when I was on, and I didn't really care, but you know, there were people who did care about it when I was on the legislature. I mean, it hadn't been changed in 30 years or something like that. Well, you know, the problem is if you don't do it occasionally, then it just sort of builds and builds and builds.
We just did it.
Time is.
We just did it not too long ago.
Well, just in general.
Yep. No, I get what you're saying, yes, but we just did it, so.
Take a look. You just can't.
I remember doing that.
So.
Okay, but if that's the case,
Yep. Any other big items, Chris?
No.
Change?
You probably are aware, gentlemen, that on page 1, we had a duplicate entry on the justices. You know, we didn't put them in the right place, but we've got the justices pay in there twice. So if you take one of them out, which is what we intended, it will change a number later on. Barely. Page 7 of the general fund. There's toward the bottom, an entry that says budgetary provision for other uses. 962.8. And it currently reads $117,000 in change. And deleting 17K above will increase this number in budgetary provision for other uses to 134. And that is the set aside money that we have in the budget to go toward the fund reserves. So that we're building our fund to have trucks and things of that nature. And at this point, that's a pretty close number. It's not enough to really project much more than we need to spend on highway equipment. But it will cover. The thing that happens is that every year we project the sales tax revenue level. And last year, rather 2004, if we count back 12 months, 4 quarters from today, we received $20,000 more than we've got projected as income in sales tax. And we've got a couple of contingency funds and a couple of funds where we're projecting our expenses, I hope generously. You know, if we don't have a lot of snow, we'd be really lucky. And we might have some money left over that otherwise is budgeted for salt. So if we ended up not spending quite all the money we projected and we ended up with higher revenue, we could end up with $200,000-300,000 that goes into reserves. That's on a good year. But it seems prudent to be cautious about projecting expenses and revenues when you're dealing with municipal money. So with that, I'm comfortable with this budget as it sits. I don't know if it I think needs to be reviewed.
We have one of the docks. Only $5,000.
Sean, would you say it again?
For the docks, only $5,000. Right, we have more than that.
Do we have a specific project?
Oh, we thought about having more that, and that was part of that plan.
Yep.
The comprehensive plan.
Yep. We could either put a number on it and change the docks, or we could look at the contingency fund as a source to do that. Either specific project and a specific number on it.
We know the numbers, we're not numbers. Not good enough.
First, ask questions and just a couple of things. Not debating. But what is economic assistance and opportunity? What is
there a number?
15,000? See, I don't know what it is.
Page number?
It's on page 5, down the bottom. I just don't know what it is.
I think that is a projection on hourly fees that Fed payment charges.
Okay.
Or we think that in addition to the communications that are improved in the website and so forth, that being able to do posters, presentations, and other graphic items.
Gotcha.
And Deb has a lot of input into communicating with the community. And I think we need to do a better job of that.
One other question is youth programs on page 6. You increased it $8. What $8?
To round it off. Yeah, that's not a thoughtful change. That's it's easier for me to write 8,700 than.
Okay.
Talking about air, Florida.
You're in there freezing.
And cultural recreation would be stuff that, not just stuff. But on website reports. And it's stuff like that, or the pickleball. It's on page 6 of the culture and recreation total.
That's the sum of all the
That's
things
all.
involved.
Okay,
Which includes not only the Belgrade historian and librarian.
okay. This has got to be something, but it's cemetery plots, really charging $400. They charge $400 and then 2 years later, government cancels $500. That's better. Okay, just curious. I didn't realize. Yeah, that is, it was fine. That is.
Spin the wheel.
The sewer districts. Things looking. Have there been any increases? District 1, I didn't see any increase.
Gentlemen, I would like to talk to you about sewer districts if I could. Right now, the budget shows sewer district number 1, sewer district number 2.
Looks like it used maybe 23 to 10, is that what you have?
Page 17 for sewer district number 1. This shows revenue of 58,000 and expenditures of 60,005, which would use 2,200 fund balance. And for sewer district number 2, which is page 20. Shows total revenue is 89,000 and total expenses 94,000. And appropriations are 94 cents. So it's $5,700 fund balance. And I think that we really ought to reduce the expenditures, which could be done partly just by reallocating them to a different department. Some of this is as imprecise as that. You could just say, gee, we really ought to pay a little of the salary to highway. Or you could change the rates and have, let's say, a 7% increase in the rates at sewer district number 2 to grab a number out of the air that's not going to be too far out.
How much fund balance is it left in
In which one?
sewer district number 2?
There is a balance sheet. It would be about page 17.
Fund balance.
Let's see. Well, I think I've seen that on financial reports. So very good. Second year, there's a lot. Place. This has about $90,000. In sewer district number 2.
That has the town now?
Yeah.
So you have we have used 2,200 last year. Want to read it? That we used 2,200 or are we free? Page 7.
That's what it's one.
Just a second, yes. Sorry. Thank you.
So sewer district number 2 has good fund balance, and we could take $5,000 out of it. It wouldn't be a problem. You can't do that year after year after year after year.
You don't need a raise in their rates this year for 2025, but
I
that's.
think that's true. And let's look at sewer district number 1. Let me just confirm what the balance there is. Sewer district 1 is again, it's about $90,000. They're both about $90,000. So both of them can afford this, and it's not a big deal. However, gentlemen, if I'm able to, I'm going to do a recalculation of health benefits, which I think are posted high in sewer districts. And if that's appropriate, I'll pull a little money out of the sewer districts, and this will probably diminish that gap rather than close it. But when it comes back to, it'll be our best guess as to what the real expenses are.
And just so you know, I mean, if it's in sewer district 1, we just did purchase a $22,000 that came home. That's
Yeah.
was the plan to go, so,
So they'll call it 68,000 instead of 90.
yeah, that was in my report. We did have one goal that should be here this week, so.
We call it 1 or 3.
What's that?
We call it 1 or 3.
That is one. Yeah, because that was the original town sewer, so 1 is there, 2 is.
Change that on the other way. When we took the town, the village over, we.
Yeah, no, yeah,
Okay.
you're just here,
Down on Riverview?
yes,
Okay. That's about 22. Okay.
yeah. So the last pump we bought, just quick thing, so the last one we bought was 13,000, that was back in 2014, I believe, was the village purchased one. Well, we purchased it, but the village. It's 19,695, then you gotta buy, of course, the filter system change is another $1,000. And it's $11.65 a liter for the oil that goes in it.
But it appears to me that we have a plan of action for our next step with the budget. I'll make the revisions that we talked about tonight. And then it's like in your needs. I'm going to be taking off. We could have a really good session before, but I don't think it's necessary. It appears the things that hot spots would be yes.
One was first, is the rest of this question here and wait for the public?
I agree. That's question about tax, the property tax revenue.
You know, there's something like, from what I can see, you always collect about $10,000 or $11,000 more than you planned. Looking back over the years, that's okay. But my question is, the increase of roughly $10,000, let's say, from 24 to 25, is that predicated on the same tax rate? Or, what do we know about the increase in taxable valuation? How does that number come about?
The new houses.
The assessed valuation has gone.
Uh-huh.
And I think it might be more than $10,000 change, but I'm not sure I remember. Have you looked at that?
No, but I guess I just don't know where the numbers come from. I mean, is this
I'll answer that.
you said the rate will be the same, or?
Yes.
Yeah.
And
And so the
we
entire.
took, we
increase
took
would
the
be
final,
To the increase in valuation on the.
we took the final assessed valuation number from the real property office and used the same tax rate number out to like 4 digits. You know, fractions of pennies. And it does generate more money every year. I mean, the more the town grows, if you have another house, and, let's say a couple of garages, then we have raised revenue, same tax rate. I would like to point out for everybody here that the town's rate of equalization used to be 100%. And it's now 82%. Our tax rate per thousand has stayed at 365 for over 10 years. If we wanted to raise the same money next year that we have in this budget, and we were at 100% valuation, the tax rate would be 330, 325, something like that. And that is not a negligible trick to pull off.
And aren't there advantages to the town in having 100% valuation or not?
There used to be some rewards,
Right. Not in-
subsidies that are no longer in place. And now all it does is raise hell.
Your county tax, you give a little more on the county.
That's right. You pay the same amount as if you had 100% valuation because the county tax rate is going to be adjusted up so that they'll pick up the money they would have.
I want, I just have to make a general comment, and I'll probably make the same comment with I think you, my opinion, I think you all do are wonderful shepherds of the town's money. You know, I think you take very good care of it. I think we can quibble with a couple $1,000s here and a couple $1,000s there, but the truth is, it's kind of, you know, it's minor kind of stuff. I think you're very, very, very good at making sure that people's money is well spent. That said, my sense is that this place is going to grow, and I think it is going to grow. That, and I come back to the surplus we have, or whatever you call it. That's how it's going to grow. I mean, what I'm hoping, and I think it's important to have that. I applaud you for having that. Maybe it sounded earlier like I didn't feel that way. But the time to spend it is to get other funds. You know, if some of these grants come through over the years to do what I think most of us hope will happen to this community, that's the time to start spending some of that money. And I hope you will be willing to shell out some of that for matching funds and all that sort of thing. And it's wonderful money to have because most communities don't have that kind of money to match outside funds or to give a certain percentage and so on. So again, just a general idea. It's a wonderful thing to have. Don't be afraid of it. Don't be afraid to spend it when it's time to spend it. And that's a really hard transition. It's like raising kids and then all of a sudden letting them go. It's you know, it's a whole change in mindset. that I think is tough to do. I thank you for what you do.
Yeah, you do a great job.
Well, I think in all your packets, you have the retaining wall. Working on it. Also. Water Street on the 8th Street. They're really small print. I do have a big set that everybody wants to look at. A little print, I tried to expand it. But I do have big print. This is what we've been waiting for to send out. I don't know if you want to try and rebid it. I've only had 2 contractors reach out. Kind of put the whole, said, let's get a engineer involved. We can re-advertise it, or I can give these prints to the 2 contractors that don't.
No, we do both.
Okay.
You advertise.
I would like, I mean, it's a different time of year. We did it kind of midsummer. Everybody was busy. Maybe this fall, somebody else take a look at it.
Mhm.
I agree with you. I just wanted to, I think it costs us about $60, Jill. to
Yeah.
advertise.
Mhm.
Yeah, because it has been a few months, waiting on engineer. I think we finally, like I said, I have a couple of big sets if anybody wants to look through them. I will get that out on that page. So they really have on it.
And this is coming out of, it's part of it.
This is part of the ARPA money. What was that? It just has to basically, you have to have a plan in place. To go ahead and-
A plan in place and any contract signed. Yeah.
We will move into new business. Doesn't appear that we have any new business. It's been done. So with that, we will move into our reports.
Okay. I just have a couple of things. During the influx of people coming in, we've had several complaints about our parking lot at the town hall. The handicap is not visible. The signage is not there, and there's a lack of parking. Just to let you know. And I just have had a few glitches with the computer, but they're working all that out and we're good to go.
Thank you. Lee, you have anything?
I do have a couple things. Like, first thank everybody for coming out here tonight. I thought we had a pretty nice small open house. Back there, it's money that, you know, fortunately with some insurance, when you guys pay the insurance policies. And it just don't feel like, I told some people that called, so they couldn't make it tonight, the calls were here. I'm pretty proud of it. The sewer's been running good. We have the water filter. We're just waiting on the parts. Are here. We have done it. We're just waiting for DOH basically how to tell us, put it back online. It's been offline for over a year, so basically the startup process we have to go through to decontaminate it, I guess, and clean it basically. Just a matter of having the plan. I worked with Dank. There are our plant operators, so basically it has to be, the plan is designed through them. Hopefully, we're hoping in the next 2 weeks to have them back on, both filters back on. I'd say we've only been running one filter for almost a year and a half. No way fault, but just waiting for parts. We are starting tomorrow to pave around Bay Street. So we'll be doing the binder this year. Hopefully be able to complete in 1 day. So actually I was gonna ask Deb if she could throw a thing out on our website and maybe try and avoid that area tomorrow. The trucks and pavers, rollers, guys working. Other than that, like I said, the vacuum pump on District 1 was ordered. I had spoke to the board. It's kind of like a no-brainer. We had to order it. We need to get that prepared. That is done. The only other thing I did have, I know we're talking about the budget, is my one water and sewer truck. The floor in the cab has rotted through. They noticed on inspection. So I do, the state has offered back again, state contracting pickups. The only thing that's on there was Chevy and Dodge. So I did get a quote for the Chevy, which basically Joe Bezos. They actually knocked 18,000 a month. So with 2500, just a regular, or excuse me, the double cab, which believe it or not, a double cab is cheaper than a single cab for the truck, $1,800 cheaper because there's no column. So it's 61,520 for the truck, which comes with a new work box. Just so you, the last one we replaced was 8,000, this one's 11,000. And that was 10 years old, but now the truck floor is going this time. 2010 or 11 truck. So, you know, if anybody likes to look at the quote, there it is. It's off Erie County city bid.
What's the time frame on this?
4 to 6 months, probably spring, he said. Yeah. I can make sure it's in. I just actually got this one back earlier today, so I didn't get a chance to pass it out to you. Think about it, I guess, as you're looking through the budget. Other than that, I was talking to some people tonight, just to give everybody an update. So in 2025, basically 2 to 3 vendors right now, Peterbilt and Western Star, are not even accepting orders for trucks because of this electric thing. So they have to sell 9 diesel trucks to 1 electric. Well, all the slots are full. Nobody's buying that. So they have to sell the electric trucks now before they can sell another diesel. It's just it's crazy. That's crazy where we're going. Some towns have actually ordered trucks just to have sitting there because they don't want to deal with the electrics, you know, because the chassis are a couple of years out, but if you can get one of these build slots, that's what they're doing.
Dean talked to the gentleman for a plow truck. We're pouring through the snow the last 2 hours.
And 7 hours.
7 hours of charge. You know, there's certain applications for it, but
It's service.
no.
It's not that, you know, even like we were talking the school buses, we met with them. So basically, if they leave in a basketball game in the wintertime, running heat from here to Harrisburg, they have to be up there 3 hours charging enough, hopefully to get home.
Get those kids home.
Get them home. I mean, it's crazy. So, and one, just so no, I mean, we're paying 260,000 for these trucks today. That's what the last truck order, after the fire, the truck we lost. When I started 10 years ago, it was 140. Electric truck is 460. So I mean, it's just not.
I think it's really good stuff. Have stuff.
Set them out. That's my report. Like I said, I just want to thank everybody for coming over here. I know it's a farther way to drive for most of it's late at night.
Watch the beer.
I was gonna say that. I wasn't.
Yeah.
I wasn't gonna jinx anybody. Yes, sir.
On the Bay Street walkway,
Yes.
is there a reason why it's ending 3 houses before?
So my reason is because of the water project that's coming through. We're sure that, we're thinking it's gonna go on the other side of the road. So, but I don't wanna do the work. We know for sure once it gets there, because the water plant will be on the side of the new back station that's there. But to get to that point, they're not sure yet. They're gonna come up there, then cross the road. So I don't wanna put the binder and do all the work, and then next year, or the year after, we get the funds.
Then it has nothing to do with
The housing there, no, has nothing to do.
Okay.
Basically, we stopped there just so we figure out this water project. I just didn't wanna redo the work.
Okay, yeah, because it seemed like you're dumping the walkers or runners.
Right, yeah, I mean, some people have said that, and that's why I tried to tell anybody, we're just trying to wait to see this water project settles in where it's gonna be.
Okay.
That's the information.
And I know some people have said too, so like up on the Main Street intersection, we kind of did
I
that.
know, is that
Is that gonna be paid?
So that will be paved, but we will put blocks there so people don't do it. My thought was if I make that intersection any wider, the cars are just gonna cut it and somebody that's walking up there. So we're just gonna go there and then it'll go straight across. I doubt we'll have time this year because of the weather and timing, but there'll be a new sidewalk down in front of the cemetery to connect all the way up through.
That
That-
makes sense.
Yeah, that's why our plan was to kind of make that little pie shape there.
Okay, thanks.
Yep. And that is done with the ARPA money also, that project is,
And when will that all be done?
so we're paving tomorrow.
Well, that part of it.
Yeah.
So all this will be finished when?
Far as,
Are you talking about the added piece?
Yeah.
Well, that,
the piece towards Northumberland Street will be probably a year to figure out what the water's exact set of water prints is gonna be. I get it, but I don't wanna,
Don't waste money.
right, that's what I mean, and then they're just gonna come either blast, either side of the road they're going, they're blasting and digging it up. And it's even, we're only putting the binder down, because I'm not even putting top, because they're gonna be trucking excavators up and down through there. It's just-
look at glass half full. There's more than.
No, yeah.
Yeah.
Right now.
So on the budget, Chris, we're doing the pickup, he wants 61,000 out of the sewer plants and water, so the truck he wants to buy.
That's what you. That's
It's a water and sewer truck.
Because the other one, the floorboard's gone, it's just the plastic mat over it now. So we don't want to reduce it any with that expense coming up.
So that expense you get divvied up.
Across, yeah, plus the water.
The districts.
So Dean said it's 6 months out, I don't know if we want to wait or order, or what do we want to do?
And you figured 51,000.
61.
So they did go back to state contract price, which knocked 18,000, almost 19,000. Here's the thing, I just got this. It was in my junk.
It's a two-seater because they're
Earlier.
cheaper. They're cheaper than the other ones because there's not as much call for them.
I didn't want a full crew cab, they're just too big for the guys to get down there and turn. I just got a double cab. A small, which they throw away.
So we want to pursue it, or you want to wait? Or?
So I mean, I just wanted to get it out there. I know we were talking budget tonight.
I don't see any reason waiting when we need it,
The
right?
floorboards is.
Yeah. And it's kind of, I mean,
Going back to Peter's point, we save money, and gotta spend on sewer and water, so let's just do it.
I'm making a motion. We just to pick up.
Yep, I second it.
And we put the order in.
Yep.
right, and you-
Motion's been made, it's seconded. Roll call.
Gary.
Aye.
David,
All right.
Chris. Sean. And Frank.
Sorry. Making a long night. So when we're building this new barn, we did put provisions, we had it wired for cameras. We're all basically outside and the fuel island. The fuel island was not wired, that is the old section. I did get a quote from Barclays in Canton. So it's 4,600 for the camera system, which will cover the whole outside of the quarter. And to run the one to the fuel island was 1,100. I just think with all the crime that seems to be going around, that would give us a little bit of security. Yes, yeah.
I think we can bring.
Two citizens, okay, we can, well, this was just, I was talking to some of them at the fire hall and they said they had, I could surely,
No, we have part of it, but I mean, maybe we should.
yeah, no, that's fine, I didn't realize they did that. I mean, just like this morning, we came in, there was a pickup load of garbage, somebody dumped out that. No clue, just full of bags, and obviously they knew they backed up. Threw all the garbage.
My thing is, so we don't have to wait another month. I mean, if Dean can beat that price, apples for apples, I would say go with the other one, but if not, I'd be 100%. Go I mean, unfortunately, that's where we're at these days,
Sign of the times.
you know, we have too nice of a facility to jeopardize any equipment.
Yeah, did you have the movement in your portable office or something, somebody trying to?
Yes, last week, we have a break in, try to get through there.
Okay,
I make the motion that, I mean, if you can better the price for apples for
Oh,
apples.
well, I can send it all to you, like, I'll talk with tomorrow and, oh, maybe Wednesday, maybe tomorrow, but I'll reach out to them and I'll just send you some deals and you guys can compare. That's all.
okay, thank you. You have a written report here from our code officer. Transcribe of your office. Then you have the census report. For review. That winds down the department reports. Any other business? If I make a motion. Adjourn. We gotta go. Oh, wait, opposed to the discuss the chief first contract and executive session.
Yeah.
So. We're going back to the session. Very important.
At 7:37.
We're not having. It's too cold.
No.
Bye-bye. See you later. Okay, see you in the morning.
Oh, you can pin.
No, I'm gonna call you.
Okay. Okay.
I'm gonna prepare communications.
Okay.
Okay. I'm gonna.
Okay.